When you picture a farm, what do you see? Maybe a classic red barn, a tractor out in the field. Well, you might want to update that image because today, agriculture is going through a massive digital revolution. It's a high-tech transformation that is changing everything, from the soil right up to the sky. So let's dive in and see how.
And nope, we're not just talking about bigger, fancier tractors. This is a fundamental shift, removing away from the traditional methods, the way our grandparents farmed, and towards a much smarter, data-driven approach. And it's changing the very ground beneath our feet.
So what do we call this revolution? It's known as precision agriculture. The core idea is actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. Instead of treating a huge field as one single unit, farmers can now manage it on a micro level. We're talking about giving each square foot exactly what it needs. No more and no less.
Okay, here's probably the best way to think about it. Traditional farming is kind of like a doctor giving everyone in town the exact same dose of aspirin, whether they have a headache or a broken arm. It's a one-size-fits-all approach. But precision farming, that's like personalized medicine. Each plant gets its own custom prescription, tailored exactly for it.
So you're probably wondering, how in the world do farmers pull this off? How do they become these high-tech field doctors? Well, it all comes down to an incredible toolbox that's just packed with modern technology. Let's open it up and see what's inside. First up, we've got GPS, and I'm not talking about the GPS in your car that tells you where to turn. This is on a whole other level. We're talking about auto-steer tractors that literally drive themselves with centimeter-level accuracy. Think about that. They create these perfectly straight, evenly spaced rows, which means no wasteful overlaps and a huge savings on fuel. Next, we have eyes in the sky. This is where drones and satellites come into play. They're flying over fields with these specialized cameras that can spot problems like disease, pests, or lack of water days before it would ever be visible to the human eye. This allows farmers to jump on a small issue before it blows up into a massive crop failure. Now, this is where it gets really, really smart. It's called variable rate technology, or VRT. This lets the machinery automatically adjust what it's doing in real time. So as a tractor moves across a field, it can apply more fertilizer to one spot and less to another, all based on a super detailed data map of the soil's needs. But how do they know what the soil needs? Well, they kind of ask it. In-ground sensors act like a direct communication line with the field. They're constantly measuring everything from moisture and temperature to critical nutrient levels. All this data helps farmers use water and fertilizer with incredible efficiency. No more guesswork. So, as you can imagine, all these tools generate a mountain of data. But, data by itself is just a bunch of numbers. The real key is the specialized software that analyzes everything, from those yield maps to the soil sensor readings, and transforms it all into a precise game plan for the next planting season. All right, so we have the tools and we have the data, but what's the end result? Well, this whole approach creates a really powerful triple win. It's a win for the farmer, a win for the consumer, and the win for the planet. These benefits really fall into three major buckets: protecting our environment, making farming more cost-efficient, and, of course, increasing productivity so we can grow more food. Let's break each one down real quick. First off, the environmental win. This one is huge. By applying fertilizer and pesticides with such surgical precision, we dramatically cut down on the chemical runoff that can pollute our waterways. It's just a massive victory for sustainability. Second, it's a win for the farmer's bottom line. Think about it. Every drop of fuel, every single seed, every pound of fertilizer costs money. By cutting out waste and optimizing every single input, farmers can significantly lower their expenses, and that goes directly to their profitability and helps keep them in business. And finally, there's the productivity win. When you manage every single part of a field according to its unique potential, giving a little more nitrogen here, a little less water over there, the result is a healthier, more robust crop. And that means bigger yields, which is absolutely essential for feeding a growing world population. It all sounds fantastic, doesn't it? A win for the planet, a win for the farmer, a win for all of us. But if it's so great, why isn't every single farm in the world using it? Well, there are some pretty significant hurdles. Yeah, making the switch to precision agriculture isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. There are some real-world barriers that can make this transition a major, major challenge. First up is the sticker shock. This advanced equipment, the software, it's not cheap. It requires a huge investment. Second, you can't just buy the gear. You have to know how to use it. which means learning a whole new set of technical skills to manage all this complex data. And finally, you become really dependent on the tech. What happens if your internet connection goes down in a remote field or a sensor starts giving you bad data?
But here's the interesting flip side. All of these new challenges are also creating some incredible new opportunities. This tech shift is fundamentally changing the job market in agriculture and creating a whole new generation of careers. Just look at some of these new roles. We're not just talking about farmers anymore. We're talking about agricultural drone operators, ag tech support specialists, and data analysts who can turn all those sensor readings into smart farming decisions. The skill set needed on a farm is expanding dramatically. And this quote really says it all. The farm of the future needs data analysts just as much as it needs tractor drivers. The farm is becoming this hub of information technology, and it requires a fascinating blend of traditional farming knowledge and modern data science. And that leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. As technology becomes more and more integrated into how we grow our food, what will the farmer of tomorrow even look like? The digital revolution is here, and it's completely replanting the very definition of what it means to farm.